The desert winds whisper ancient secrets. They dance across the sands of Egypt, a land where time itself seems to stand still. Towering pyramids pierce the sky, monuments to a civilization that flourished millennia ago. Colossal statues, weathered by centuries, gaze out over a land of forgotten grandeur. This is the Egypt of the Pharaohs, a realm of gods and kings, where the echoes of the past still resonate with awe-inspiring power. Few figures loom as large in this grand tapestry of history as Ramesses the Great. Ramesses II, the third pharaoh of the 19th dynasty, ruled Egypt for over 6 decades. His reign marked a golden age of Egyptian civilization, a time of unparalleled prosperity and military might. From the banks of the Nile to the distant reaches of the Levant, the name of Ramesses struck fear and awe into the hearts of his enemies. His armies clashed with Hittite chariots in the epic Battle of Kadesh, his building projects transformed the face of Egypt, and his quest for immortality left an enduring mark on the sands of time. Ramesses II ascended the throne as a young man, eager to prove himself a worthy successor to his father, Seti I. He inherited a kingdom already at the height of its power, yet Ramesses was determined to carve his own legend into the annals of history. His reign began with a series of military campaigns aimed at expanding Egypt's borders and securing its trade routes. In the south, he subdued Nubian tribes and extracted tribute from their lands. In the north, he turned his attention to the growing might of the Hittite Empire, a formidable foe that controlled much of Anatolia. The clash between these two superpowers culminated in the Battle of Kadesh, a monumental confrontation fought near the Orontes River in modern-day Syria. Ramesses, known for his courage and military prowess, personally led his troops into battle, driving deep into the heart of the Hittite army. The battle raged for hours, a chaotic melee of chariots, archers and infantry. Though initially caught off guard by a Hittite ambush, Ramesses rallied his forces and fought with ferocious determination. The outcome of the battle remained a stalemate, but Ramesses, ever the master of propaganda, declared it a glorious victory. He returned to Egypt a hero, his reputation as a warrior king solidified. Ramesses II's reign was not defined solely by military conquest. He was a prolific builder, a pharaoh determined to leave an indelible mark on the landscape of Egypt. From the sprawling temple complexes of Abu Simbel to the majestic hypostyle hall of Karnak, his construction projects were on a scale unmatched by any of his predecessors. He adorned these monuments with colossal statues of himself, towering figures meant to inspire awe and convey his divine power. He inscribed the walls with tales of his victories, ensuring that his legend would be passed down through generations. This obsession with self-aggrandizement was not mere vanity. Ramesses understood the power of image and propaganda. By associating himself with the gods, by erecting monuments of unparalleled grandeur, he sought to secure his place in the afterlife. He believed that by preserving his name and image in stone, he could cheat death itself and achieve a form of immortality, and in a way, he succeeded. Thousands of years after his death, his name still resonates, his image still adorns temples and tombs, and his legacy continues to fascinate and inspire. If Ramesses II sought to immortalize himself through stone, then the temples of Karnak and Luxor stand as testaments to the enduring power of Egyptian religion. Located on the east bank of the Nile River, these sprawling temple complexes were not merely places of worship. They were microcosms of the universe, where the boundaries between the earthly and the divine blurred. Karnak in particular was the largest religious structure ever built, a testament to the Egyptians' unwavering faith, and the pharaoh's role as intermediary between the gods and humanity. For over 2,000 years, pharaohs from different dynasties added to Karnak, expanding its sacred precincts, erecting towering pylons adorned with hieroglyphics, and filling its halls with the statues of gods and kings. The temple was dedicated to the Theban triad, Amun, the king of the gods, Mut, his consort, and Khonsu, their son. It was here that the pharaoh, believed to be the living embodiment of the god Horus, performed elaborate rituals to ensure the fertility of the land, the stability of the cosmos, and the continued favor of the gods. The air within these sacred walls would have been thick with the smell of incense, the sound of chanting priests, and the flickering light of oil lamps. One of the most important rituals performed at Karnak was the annual Opet festival, a celebration of rebirth and renewal that reaffirmed the pharaoh's divine right to rule. During this festival, statues of Amun, Mut, and Khonsu were paraded from Karnak to Luxor Temple, a journey of over a mile that symbolized the god's annual visit to his consort. The pharaoh himself participated in this procession, carried on a gilded barge along the Nile River, accompanied by priests, musicians, and dancers. The Opet festival was not merely a spectacle for the masses, it was a deeply symbolic event. The pharaoh's journey to Luxor Temple represented the sun god Ra's nightly voyage through the underworld, and his return to Karnak symbolized Ra's triumphant rebirth at dawn. By associating himself with Ra, the pharaoh reinforced his own divinity and his role as the guarantor of cosmic order. The festival culminated in a series of secret rituals performed deep within the temple, rituals that were believed to imbue the pharaoh with renewed strength and vitality. Today, the temples of Karnak and Luxor are not only architectural marvels, but also vast repositories of knowledge. Hidden within their walls, beneath layers of plaster and paint, lie the secrets of Egyptian civilization. Archaeologists have uncovered countless artifacts, from intricately carved statues and stelae to fragments of papyrus inscribed with hieroglyphics. These artifacts offer a glimpse into the daily lives of the ancient Egyptians, their beliefs, their rituals, and their understanding of the cosmos. One particularly intriguing discovery was the cache of statues found buried within the Karnak complex. These statues, dating back to the Middle Kingdom, were not intended for public display, but were instead hidden away, perhaps as offerings to the gods. Each statue represents a different individual, from humble laborers to high-ranking officials, frozen in time, their features still remarkably lifelike. These statues are not merely objects of art, they are tangible links to the past, whispering tales of a civilization that once flourished on the banks of the Nile. While Ramesses II sought to immortalize himself through monumental architecture and traditional religious practices, a later pharaoh, Akhenaten, would challenge the very foundations of Egyptian religion. Akhenaten's reign, a brief but tumultuous period in Egyptian history, marked a radical departure from the polytheistic beliefs that had defined Egyptian civilization for centuries. Driven by a fervent belief in a single, universal god, Akhenaten sought to overturn the established order and reshape Egyptian society in the image of his god, the Aten. Akhenaten's god, the Aten, was not entirely new to the Egyptian pantheon. Represented as a sun disk with rays extending down to embrace humanity, the Aten had been a relatively minor deity associated with the life-giving power of the sun. Akhenaten, however, elevated the Aten to the status of the sole god, the creator and sustainer of all life. He declared that the Aten was not merely one god among many but the one true god, a universal deity who transcended the boundaries of traditional Egyptian religion. This radical shift from polytheism to monotheism sent shockwaves through Egyptian society, challenging the authority of the priesthood and the very fabric of Egyptian life. To further solidify his religious revolution, Akhenaten ordered the construction of a new capital city, a city dedicated to the worship of the Aten. This city, known as Akhenaten, Horizon of the Aten, modern-day Amarna, rose from the desert sands with astonishing speed. Its temples, unlike the dark and labyrinthine sanctuaries of the old gods, were open to the sky, allowing the rays of the Aten to bathe the city in light. Akhenaten's artists abandoned the rigid stylized conventions of traditional Egyptian art, embracing a more naturalistic and expressive style that reflected the revolutionary spirit of the age. Akhenaten's reforms, however, were met with resistance, particularly from the powerful priesthood of Amun, whose influence and wealth were directly threatened by the rise of the Aten. The common people, too, may have struggled to adapt to such a radical shift in their beliefs. Akhenaten's reign was marked by a strange mix of idealism and intolerance. He promoted a message of peace and universal love, yet he ruthlessly suppressed those who clung to the old ways. He defaced temples dedicated to Amun and other gods, and his agents erased their names from monuments and inscriptions in an attempt to eradicate their memory. Akhenaten's reign was short-lived. After 17 years on the throne, he vanished from history, his name erased from official records, his city abandoned to the desert sands. His son-in-law, Tutankhaten, ascended the throne and, perhaps under pressure from the priesthood and the people, renounced Akhenaten's radical reforms. He changed his name to Tutankhamen, living image of Amun, and restored the old gods to their former glory. Akhenaten was abandoned, its temples dismantled, its art defaced, as if the very memory of Akhenaten and his heretical beliefs was too dangerous to endure. Yet even in its destruction, Akhenaten's legacy lived on. His experiment with monotheism, though ultimately short-lived, would have a profound impact on the development of religious thought in the ancient world. And while his city may have been abandoned, the art and architecture of Amarna continue to captivate and inspire, offering a glimpse into a brief but extraordinary period of innovation and upheaval. The story of Akhenaten, like that of Ramesses II and the countless other pharaohs who ruled over this ancient land, reminds us that even the most powerful rulers are but fleeting shadows in the grand tapestry of time. Their monuments may crumble, their names may be forgotten, but the echoes of their dreams and ambitions continue to resonate across the sands of time, reminding us of the enduring power of human belief and the enduring mystery of ancient Egypt.